Before starting the video, I just wanted to say that the video got pretty long, as you can see by the video duration. But I went there 2 times. The first time I was with somebody, and the second time I was just by myself. And I just kind of got little, clips here and there of stuff I wanted to video. I wanted to make sure that I was able to experience it, because this was a pretty big moment for me, without losing that happiness or experience to being focused on videoing. So all the clips kind of get jumbled, and I repeat myself. I repeat the same line quite a bit. So just keep that in mind. For anyone that wants just kind of a little quick overview, I'm going to put that at the front of the video right after this. And for anyone else that wants to see all the little details, there's quite a bit of information and stuff to see. You can watch the whole thing, and you can skip to anything that you like, or just skip around any part of the video. So feel free to do that. And here's the Tornado Intercept Vehicle. Here's the Tornado Intercept Vehicle, or also known as TIV1, built by Sean Casey back in 2002. And it was built off of a 1997 Ford F-superduty, which is an F450, basically. And it has a 7.3 and a ZF5 manual. OBS. Here's the front, the claws, wire over the headlights, the grill. It's the passenger side, the door. You can see some remnants on that side of old graffiti back from Los Angeles. Turret. Trunk on it. You can see the claws are also pretty cool. Here's the rear. The other door is welded shut, but here's how you get to the back. You can see they actually turned that seat back in Highway to Hell partway through the episode, I assume for the film crew, so they can film Sean and the turret better. Another seat for either Sean or film crew or Byron. Whoever's sitting back there. There's a little hatch just built off of a hinge, looks like. And coming to the passenger side. Here's the door they added after the 2003 season. This seat's not the original black Corbo seat. The Momo one, though, on the driver's side, they kind of like Momo, and then the Corbo on the passenger side, the Momo seat's original. Or so I know, so that's pretty cool. Yeah, pretty cool. You can see, kept the dash, cut out all that so they could have a CB, and see, compass, barometer, laptop flip down right here. And this door has been welded shut. The turret's up there. Walkaround. California plate, which has seen better days. It's like last registered 2009. Although Ryan Shepard, unless he was late to uploading that video, posted something in 2012. I believe it was April of 2012, titled Restoring TIV1, which he flew over to I think Burbank, California, picked it up, and drove it over to Hays, Kansas, which his final resting place, which was a centralized point in Storm Chasers, was Hays, Kansas, and this is where this thing rests. Walk around it a bit here. There's my OBS 7.3. I'm obsessed with these old body style 7.3s. I'm obsessed with Ford in general, but this thing I've been obsessed with since I was about 6 years old. It's a long time, never thought I'd get to see it. There's a 7.3, I'll go in depth on that later, just because, you know, I want to be able to see everything about this thing. Now obviously the owner of this is Robert Clayton. He was looking on Google Maps. I did not know this, but apparently Sean had a scavenger hunt for this thing. He just abandoned it over here by Hays, Kansas, and Robert Clayton was looking on Google Maps and found it sometime in 2020. So he is the owner of it, and so this is obviously his property. Just to be clear and respectful to his stuff, obviously. So, yep, like I said, it's Robert Clayton's TIV now, and he's not selling it. So, all right, so here is a walk around of the original TIV built by Sean Casey in 2002. It's off of 1997 Ford F-superduty, which is basically an F450. It has a 7.3 power stroke and a ZF5. And this is my favorite of the two TIVs. Let's see. Looks like the plate's last tag was 2009. Here's like it. Here's the trunk. Looking at the rear end, I've seen this thing once before. I'll show that later, but it actually has airbags on the front, but it has a winch that's wrapped around the rear end on this thing, and it actually pulls the vehicle down instead of bags. So I did not originally know that. It's kind of cool to know. As you can see, I believe that's the full tank on it. Here's some graffiti from Los Angeles. Show the other side a lot better. Should have the Dana 80 rear end, I believe. I believe it, well, the speedometer doesn't work, but it seems like this vehicle might be geared 456s, 4.56. But yep, some graffiti, like I said. Here's the claws. The claws were added in for that Storm Chasers season for 2007, just to make the vehicle more stable. There's the exhaust, as you can see. Claws, pretty cool. Let's get the new polycarb. There's another door you can access. Take that nut off. Down here should be the compressors. There's a spare bag right there, actually. Like I said, the front end has the airbags on it, but this is definitely pretty cool to see. See, there it is, and then it has all these all these 3 tanks, it looks like. There's one with compressors, and here's the second one. 2 compressors on the thing. Yeah, back before Sean had the turret, he used to have these, which would open up as large windows, but the problem is you always have to be broadside to the storm and have this thing positioned right, so he ended up adding the turret for the 2004 season, I believe. He added it in 2004. And then walking up, this door was not original to the vehicle. They added it in after an electrical fire broke out during the 2003 season, and the only access was via the rear main doors, which this used to be a door back in the day, welded shut now, but these 2 doors, so the occupants would just have to climb up front. But here's the latch, just opens right up, and the interior, it's a pretty cool latch, just like Robert Clayton said, bolt action, 50 cal. Front racing seat. Here's the dash. The original F-superduty. They cut this section out for laptop. They kind of cut it out right there, where the original stereo goes. Also, I noticed about this seat, which is what Sean sat in often. He also sat in that one too. But on the episode Hail to the Beast, it appears midway through the episode that seat goes from rear facing to be mounted on the side, actually. And I think that's because of Discovery, and they wanted to get, you know, a better shot of Sean so they could sit there and then fill him up in the turret. So it actually swapped partway through that episode, believe it or not. You got the hatch, obviously. There's another access point for the front tires and front end. Another good look at the front end. Like I said, it's a 7.3 power stroke. And I'll get a video of this in depth here in a second. Yeah, pretty cool, because you know, I'm a big OBS Ford guy. That's my OBS 97 7.3 ZF5. So, you know, I'm all over this thing. Got some remnants of the original paint. The black Tornadoes were all the Imax footage that Sean filmed, all the clips of film that he has of Tornadoes. And then the red ones are TIV Intercepts, which, as you can see, they used to go into here. And then the red and black, the hybrid, are intercepts while filming. Yep, the iconic Momo racing seat. There's the dash. You can see that cut apart the dash a little bit. The ZF5, and then the controls for the compressors and the claws and the winches and everything. And looking back into up in the turret up there. So like I said, it used to be 2 doors, but evidently that one was welded shut. But here's the back portion of the TIV. As you can see, there's the pinches. There's one on the other side. That just pulls the rear end up, which I did not originally know that. That's actually interesting to know. Another crew member seat, either for production or Sean or Byron, or I think Ronan a couple times actually too, when he'd get tired. And then obviously the turret where Sean's Imax camera would mount up to. And then you got the other claws around it. But yeah. Alright, so looking at the door here, the passenger side, which did not always have this door. I believe Sean added it after there was an electrical fire up here. So much dust in the original cluster. Here's the dash. Definitely a little bit tighter in here than you'd think. Are you taking a video? Than you'd think, seeing it on TV. Yeah. Still video. Look at all that wire. What? I still remember them showing this in Tornado Intercept when Sean made this little panel. I get to see it in person, eh? Here's inside the cockpit of TIV1 Field 97 F-superduty dash. ZF5. Pedal blocks, surprisingly, isn't that wore out. I mean, you can see there's quite a bit of wear on the brake. It's been driven quite a bit. I've noticed that the speedometer never really worked, at least in the last couple of years. I would assume even earlier, even into 2007. I think I've kind of noticed that on Storm Chasers. Could use it, or could have needed a VSS, and they had never put one in it, so no telling how many miles it has on it. But plus these things roll over every 400,000. It rolls back down to 300,000 on these OBS Ford odometers. This pin over here can't display a 4, so it just rolls over back to 3. But I assume it has quite a bit on it. Got your control panel here. I still remember Sean cutting this out on Tornado Intercept back when he showed making it. Now you can see the compressors. Got a rear air locker and compressor right here. Various switches. Believe these are for the claws. And then the winch to lower the rear end down could have something to do with these, actually. But yeah, dash is pretty cool to see. It's been cut out right there. A CB radio and stuff, and then the laptop right there to check weather. And this just pulls down. It's been tied up right now though. Real racing seats here. Pretty cool to see. And pretty cool to think that Sean Casey filmed a lot of his footage for Tornado Alley in this vehicle. But yeah. You got a little hatch right here. Open up. That was back in the days. Pretty cool. Hinge is definitely getting a little worn out for sure. But yeah, definitely very, very cool to see. Very cool. Oh, there she is. I remember that from back in the day. CB radio right here. Talk to Josh. Remember this light right here, and there's window right here with the polycarb. Remember this is always shining quite a bit in the dark. Ronin driving right here. But yeah, pretty cool to see the panel. I mean, the ZF5, it's a 7.3 Power Stroke, built on an F-superduty, which is an F450 chassis. I believe Sean said it had like 114,000 miles on it before he modified it, but yeah. And the original harnesses that Ronin Nagel used to wear, well, and Sean Casey, but it's pretty cool. Actually, I think this was updated at least once, but everything's, you know, just padded, very crude, but also very cool to see at the same time. It's a shot over there. All right, sitting in here. It was an XL truck though, too. You can tell by the steering wheel. No cruise control. That's the stuff. I mean, it's different with all this open. Imagine with all the polycarb and stuff. Feels pretty enclosed, for sure. Everything's padded. Parking brake. Under the dash. Pretty cool. OBD too. Hatch up here. Yeah. The racing seat fits me okay. I mean, it's a little tore up, but the old Momo racing seat, and then you got the straps that Ronin used to wear. Ah, legendary. Let's put this over your shoulder. Like back in the day, and yeah, pretty cool. This looks like it's been replaced. Turn signal doesn't feel factory. Huh. Interesting. Headlights. Here's what the passenger side looks like over here. Okay, here is the front of TIV1. As you can see, there's not quite a lot of headroom in here. Honestly, seeing it on TV, you do think it's a little bit bigger. I mean, it's bigger on the outside, but a little bit more compact inside. I mean, obviously that's for aerodynamics and trying to be as sleek and low as possible. For what Sean described as a very basic roll cage, I think that it's actually designed pretty well. I mean, the frame structure of it and all the tubing came together pretty nice. Obviously a lot of modification and stuff's been done to it, you know, a lot of different changes and stuff, but yeah, very interesting to see. Racing seats also cool to feel, you know, just thinking about Sean Casey and Ronin Nagel and Marcus driving this thing back in the day. I mean, just simple works, but yeah, pretty cool. And then you see all the polycarb is out of it right now, but here's the 7.3 in it, 7.3 Power Stroke, 97 model, and it's back behind the CF5, 5-speed. And yeah, you can just see how all the frame comes together. definitely sleek. Alright, here you can see the original TIV. Here's the hatch Sean likes to hang out of quite a bit. That's also the hatch that the handle got sheared off when they hit power lines, and the power lines got cut up in the turret. Pretty cool. Alright, standing up inside the hatch that Sean Casey regularly stood in up here. You can see the engine, the 7.3 power stroke. Pretty cool view. Just look at everything fabrication wise. I mean, there's definitely some questionable welds here and there, but Sean never claimed to be a welder. I think he and his co-pilot did not bad with it. And look at turret and everything. Fabrication on that. Claws and hatch, obviously. All right, here's a view on the passenger side. You can see the driver's side there. Decent amount of room over here. This is where Byron Turk, TIVs navigator, used to sit. And it's just clipped up here. And then look at weather data. Here's a pretty cool. Pretty cool. All right, we're going in TIV 1 here. Here's the compressor. Here, look up top. TIV 1. Okay, so going inside here on the rear door. This is how you used to get in back in the day. One of these two doors, except that one is no longer a door. You can see one of the seats, either Sean Casey or crew member, and then you have this racing seat, which they actually turned it partway through Highway to Hell episode of 2008. I kind of have a suspicion it might have to do with getting a better shot of filming Sean up in the turret, and they possibly added some stuff up here, some inverters and stuff, so they flopped the seat and then just welded on some round stuff to tie the harness to, I guess it looks like, I guess. Got another latch, just a bolt welded onto a piece of tube. Kind of cool, kind of funny. Just some Berber carpet laid down the other way. Now going up through here. Here's the winches. And the fuel tanks underneath, obviously. Now, on one of the TIV tours that Discovery filmed that's on YouTube, Byron talked about the trunk being their escape hatch and they kick it out. I don't know how that would have worked unless it was just that little section right there. I don't know if it was at one time because he said it was tack welded together. And they turned into a truck, I don't know. A trunk? Yeah, I don't know. You can see some of the welds. They were original construction. It's kind of hard to see some of them just because there's so much Berber carpet and filler everywhere. You know, very roughly finished, which is cool. But yeah, I mean, Sean never claimed to be a welder. He said my co-pilot might not be too happy about these welds, but I'm feeling pretty good about them. Quote Sean Casey 2002. and they said they look good. And then he says, I might not trust my life on this weld. We'll have to go back and fill it in. Yeah, as you can see, I'm a pretty big Storm Chaser Sean Casey TIV guy. I know my stuff about it. Like I said, the windows pop out here and here. At least that's what I assume. Looks like I just have a little piece of padding up there. Kind of funny. Some storage and stuff. The turret is right here, and they developed it in the 2004 year after Sean realized that positioning this thing broadside to a storm was too hard, so that, you know, the turret, you can move 360 and film. And then he got one of the compressors rigged up to it, so this flips up the hatch right there. And then I think he had something rigged up to blow air across his lens, according to Byron. On the TIV vehicle tour, you can see it on YouTube. I'm trying to squeeze on in here. Okay, better look at the turret. Just on these rollers, which he has the square tubing. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, there it is. Square tubing welded, I guess, in case it lifts up. I'm trying to figure out what actually holds this thing down, other than just sitting in here, you know. That's a good question. It's pretty heavy. I'm a little stuck. Moved this thing last time I was here. Obviously, you got the hatch, got the iconic green paint from back in the Storm Chaser, and well, whatever. I guess actually, whenever you just since he had the turret on it, it's always had this green paint. And Tornado Intercept, the National Geographic had it too. Yeah, that's Berber carpet, little lights here and there. Pretty cool to see. Here's some of the polycarbonate, and this is Robert Clayton's stuff, so obviously respectful of his stuff and in that matter. Fire extinguisher, the updated seat. Now I remember these 3 zip ties. The little things of, you know, all this just come back and bring memories. I remember, you know, always seeing these 3 zip ties right here. So I get excited about that, you know, being able to see that. And then the brake pedal has that wear spot. You can actually still see that wear spot on the 2003 pictures online of this thing. Back when it was, you know, original before the turret, before, I mean, this thing was just made practically. It was empty back here. Obviously, there's been mice rummaging through everywhere, so it's a little weathered. There's no tarp over it. Yeah. Headspace, I mean, I'm sitting on top of stuff. Definitely kind of have to, you know, angle down a little bit. All right, here's a view. Sitting in this seat. Not much headroom for sure. Definitely went for the lower, sleeker design. I mean, obviously, so the wind can go over it. Sitting in the back here, kind of nice actually. Yeah, the turret really does take up a big part of this vehicle. Some windows right here. See outside. Now, I don't think I'm the only one curious about the engine on this thing. It's a 1997 F-superduty, and it has the 7.3 power stroke and the ZF5. But, you know, you don't typically get a good close-up view of the engine bay on this thing. So, it's the typical old body style 7.3 power stroke, 97. Looks like the original Garrett TP38. Still has the mechanical lift pump on it and the fuel bowl, so it hasn't had an e-fuel put on it before. Non-intercooled still. The old body style 7.3s were never intercooled from the factory, so it looks like Sean never added one of those. Does have a cold air intake on it. This AFE cold air intake. Since it's an F-superduty, it actually has a hydro boost system on it, as you can see right there. Also does have a 3-inch downpipe on it too, so it doesn't have the restricted Cobra head downpipe. And the up pipes, let's see, the up pipes do look original on this thing. Does not have bellowed up pipes on it, which, I mean, I wouldn't assume it would. Oh, see, sit over there. Still has a vacuum pump right there. And let's see, power steering pump does have an AC compressor, so this thing does actually have AC and heat, because they left all that in the dash alone. As you can see, these batteries. You can see the IDM. Quite a bit of wires, obviously, because there's quite a bit going on here. You can see all the wiring going along there. There's the master cylinder. And you can see, basically, he just kind of left that engine bay alone, and then he kind of made a frame around it and then boxed it all in with sheet metal, 1/8" sheet metal. So you can see, you know, like I just said, the original core support and everything. Now, this thing does have the 97 model international sticker on it, and there's been rumors that Sean, this is its third engine, and like 3 of them have ball thrown rods. I don't think that's necessarily true. I mean, generally, if it threw a rod, then you definitely do risk your block being damaged from that. I don't know, maybe it's been rebuilt before, but I do kind of have a suspicion this is this thing's original engine. I don't think it's been through three engines like some of the people comment on some of the YouTube videos for rumors. Also, the other thing is, you know, why did Sean abandon it in the first place? I asked the company who's been working on it what they've done to it, and says that he doesn't remember because it was years and years ago, but it's had some engine work done to it, which, you know, I kind of wish I could figure out. And needs a turbo, evidently, pretty bad, they said. And it also does have an overheating issue, so they suspect maybe it has a head gasket issue, which might make sense. Going back and watching Tornado Intercept, this thing seemed to be overheated quite a bit, so I guess it doesn't surprise me. The manifolds also do look all original too. You can see the vacuum pump on these hydro boost trucks is to run the HVAC controls, because the HVAC controls on these are controlled by vacuum. But yeah, I'm a pretty big 7.3 power stroke guy, especially old body style. Pretty obsessed with them, so when you have this in here, you know, I love storm chasing and tornadoes, and show Storm Chasers, probably my favorite reality show, even still to this day. But You know, I never thought I would be able to get to see this thing in person, but pretty cool. Dipstick here. See how it smells. It smells alright. Also, it has not had the Super Duty under valve cover harness update to where there's just one big plug here. So it still has the old body style design. And yeah, still has the evaporator on it. Heater core in here. Blower motor. Wipers. Stuff of the original vehicle in the cowling goes along here. So yeah, pretty cool. Wire over the headlights. Let's see the bearings in this turbo. Actually, I don't even feel any slop. See how the fins are. Let me turn on my camera. I mean, obviously it's been sitting open now. I don't know, maybe it burns oil, the turbo. But yeah, it would be interesting to know, you know, is this thing's original engine? Although like I said, I do think it is. It does have the stock glow plug relay on it too. Stock fuel bowl. The only way to really tell to see if it has bigger injectors in it would be to pull these valve covers off. Sean did claim it makes around 400 horsepower, so it probably has a tune of some sort on it. Chipper tune. I can't really find anything on the dash in there, but I don't know. He claims it makes 400 horsepower, so it could have injectors. There's not really any way of telling because, well, you can't exactly see down there very well to get the code. But if it is stock injectors, it would be the AA injectors for the 90cc single shots. And then coming back to the rear end, Dana 80, and it does have an air locker on it. Now what they did was, this spring pack is intact. They still have that winch running up through there, and then it ties around the rear end on this thing and it just pulls it up. That's how they lower it to the ground, I guess. Kind of an interesting setup. And you can see there is the hydraulic cylinders for the spikes. The hydraulic pump's actually on this side. I'll open that up. But pretty cool. Pretty big fuel tank on it too. I assume they were by Sean Casey. Oh yeah, and then rear tires on this thing. Goodyear Wranglers, 235, 85, 16, so this is the stock size. And yes, it is an F-superduty. That is a 10 lug. It's not an F350. It's an F-superduty. Here's the tires on it. Like I said, it's got these access panels. Okay, so got this door, and this is where looks like hydraulics are for this thing. I mean, there's spray foam parts. Definitely interesting fabrication, that's for sure. Now this is Robert Clayton stuff, so I don't want to dig through it too much, but here's some old Rotella Sean might have bought or something. Super white grease, some brake fluid, some brake clean, some ATF back there. Kind of cool to see. It was probably way back in the day. Alright, so managed to get on this driver's side, open this up so I can get a glance under here. I don't see how the front end works. It looks like it's on a leaf spring, but he cut most of the pack out. I mean, there's only one spring here, and then there's the bag, the airbag, and then it just lowers down. Yeah, there's a shackle up there, so it's just a single spring. Actually, looks like there might have been some kind of pulley system too to pull it down. I don't know. Yeah, you can see lots of, rough fabrication work. I mean, it does the job. There's the oil filter, it looks like. Oil pan. There's the ZF5. Actually, going looking at that side, that side, the spring's still intact. Two-piece spring. This side, it's been cut through, obviously. So that's interesting. I guess there's still, enough weight on these when you have the lighter springs out. So he must have taken some of that pack apart so he could have the bags on it. But like I said, the front end is lower down through the airbags, and then the rear is pulled up. And then looking up here, as you can see, the original Ford of the cab is still here with the cab mounts, actually. But yeah, definitely cool to see, for sure. I'm not gonna wedge myself under here too much more. I'm gonna get myself stuck, but yeah. Unfortunately, I can't really get underneath of it up here. Oh, there's a steering stabilizer. You can see the springs under there. Yeah, he just took out all the blocks and then took some leaves out of the front end and just put bags in there. Looks like how that works. Everything just sits down on the ground. See where those hydraulic cylinders for the claws go. Here's the front claw down on it. Claws are pretty cool. I mean, that's not much of a hinge point, but definitely cool for sure. This thing's made of a mix of MIG weld and flux core. Some are better than others, but yeah. Yeah, looking from the outside, I don't know how this ever was an escape hatch, but I guess maybe it was one time. I don't know. Here's the foot cap. Back when they were running out of fuel last episode of the first season. And then Sean was like, Byron, where's the cap? Had it up here. Sounds a little old, varnishy. For sure. But yeah. Alright, I just took off this lock nut with just the wrench I have. This is just another storage cubby. And then just locks back with this nut. Also, for locking this thing, looks like this door just closes, and then they put a lock in there, just like that. This isn't even a latch, it's just a handle to pull it open. So then they just do that at night, and then when they're in it, you know, use the actual bolt. And then over here on this door, same deal. Just right there to close her up. But yeah, TIV on.